Good night. Everyone doing tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Simon J. Space Divine. I'm here to give you a little short news and a word on tonight. Um, we're gonna start with voting rights. We're gonna start with voting ready, not voting rights, voting. Now we got pre-voting going on right now. So this Saturday on the 14th, if anybody wants to vote early, you can go out and vote. You know, um, So it's very important that everyone that's 18 years old on up to come out and vote. We got pre-voting going on right now, So this is the year, you know. I need everyone to get all your information together, get everything updated, so you can start with your voting or either wait till next year, but you all can start now, and start voting. So as a voter, you you will help decide who will lead. You know, you make the voice heard. You know, on important issues. That affect the future of our state and nation. Every time you use your right to vote, you make a difference. In this democracy. Grow stronger. Not today. Citizen over the age 18 years old cannot be denied. The right to vote on the basis of race, religion, sex, disability. In every state, citizens must register to vote in your district. That's why I've been fighting for so many, like pretty much with Alabama disapproved theirs. We still have Louisiana, to make sure everyone is in a district. You have to be on a map to be in that district to vote. So we're trying to get all that done this year. You know, if you move, it's time for you to update your information. You know, if you're in another location, it's time for you update your information. Now we have pre-voting Saturday on the 14th. So everyone wants to pre-vote. You can also do that, and election start next year. So we need all age, 18 years old and up, to come out and vote, register. You know, vote for, get ready, prepare yourself for 2024. We need a huge number. We got so much going on. We need a huge number of everyone to come out and vote. So if you feel like you move, you feel like your number changed, whatever the situation is, this is the year, for you to update your information. Especially if you want to pre-vote on Saturday. So um, I have a word for you on tonight. Misunderstanding. And it's going to come from Joshua chapter 22, verse 10 through 20. Misunderstanding, failure to understand, something correctly, like a lack of communication. Misunderstanding can erupt over little tiny things, you know, big things. So when this happens, the best course of action is to open and communicate. A lesson learned in a amused way by the people of Israel. Now this gonna be their own people, but they're doing things separate. So when they came together, near the Jordan in the land of Canaan, the Reubenites, the Canaanites, and the half tribes of Messiah built an impostor altar there by Jordan. So they built an altar there, but they're not telling no one. Even though they are like, God gave this land to all us. I don't have to ask them for nothing because they all Jews. They all is family. So they built an altar as a reminder, that the two and a half tribes across the Jordan are still part of God's people. And they're correct. All of them is God's people. But some of them, when God had rescued them from Egypt, A lot of them went, that's what, Esau family, they went that way. They went that way. And Paul must have went another way because Paul ain't know nothing about Jesus or God, none of that. And most of all the Israel, like they should know everything about God, you know. But two of the hell tribes across the Jordan are still part of God's people and still live in God's land. So they came and built an imposed altar there by the Jordan River, but it did not speak to the leader. So there is to let them know that this will cause a problem, lack of communication. All you got to have communication, They feel like, we all God people. He gives to the land all, and which is true. But if you went separate ways, before they see something and thinking it's somebody else, just have a communication. So they came and built a altar, So when the Israelite heard that they had built an altar on that border of Canaan, near the Jordan of the Israelite side, on their side, on Canaan land, you know. And so they heard. Now, instead of them, hearing it and going question them why they built it, they just take things to a whole nother level, you know. Instead of, all this can be avoided. They're ready to go to war. So now when the Israelite had heard, they should have set a meeting, with both leaders, of why, they building the altar there. So when you don't communicate, it will be misunderstood. So they don't want to have communication. They just have communication. Because it's a reminder that we all God people. That's what they was doing. Because they're beefing among themselves when they all are family. So the leader of Israel, so the whole assembly of Israel had gathered, to go to war against them. So instead of going and communicate with them on why you feeling this here, they're ready to go to war. They're ready to take this to war. Still them asking and finding out what's going on. So the leaders of Israel had traveled out to meet them. Ready to continue their holy war against their own people if it's necessary. Because see, they know that's their own people. They say, if it's necessary, we're going to go to war with them. We don't care who they are. We about to go to war. So the Israelites had believed that if they let this altar remain, God will judge the whole nation. So they're scared. They're scared. They figure if we let them keep this altar right here, we feel like, God gonna judge gonna judge all of us. So we need to do something about it. But instead of doing something about it, by communicate, they're ready to just go to war. Because instead of letting them know, you can't have this right here. You're disrespecting us and God. So the leader of Israel is ready to go to war. So that's how we are today. That's how we are today. You hear something, instead of you trying to find out what the real answer is, you're ready to go to war, ready to catfight. So the Israelite has sent one of his people over there, the son of Isaac, the priest, to the land, went to the land, so the half of the tribe, Messiah, so with him they sent 10 of the chief men, one from each of the tribes of Israel, and each of the head of the family division among the Israelite chain. Now see, they getting all their men together. Instead of the two leaders conversating to find out what's going on, they getting their men together ready to go to war. So now they're getting their men together for war. They represented the military division of Israel, and they sent 10 leaders. Sent 10 leaders, but no one talked to the leaders. The family leader for each tribe of Israel. So when they had went together, the hell trials of Messiah, they had said to them, the whole assembly of the Lord said, how could you break faith with God of Israel like this? So how could you turn away from the Lord and build yourself an altar in a rebellion against him now? So they figure by them building that altar, they feel like they done built that and went against God. But if they had let this altar remain, they feel like, they would break faith and rebellions by building just for themselves. So they figure they're building it for themselves, feel like they're disrespecting God, you know, and they feel like, we just need to go to war to set this straight. There was not, it was not sin or prayer enough for us, but up to this very day, we have not cleaned ourselves from that sin, even though we last fell on the community of the Lord. Now, sin, what they're talking about is they're worshiping idols, other gods, and something that God don't want them to do. The since building the altar is seen designed not for a single action, or isolation worship, and we are you now turning away from the Lord. So if you rebel against the Lord today, tomorrow, he will be angry with the whole community of Israel. Now he's saying, if you keep this altar here, you allow it to remain, it's like you worshiping other gods. And God will take it out on the whole community, what he's saying. So they had break their faith with God. Now God is angry that they worship other gods, and if they don't put it away, he will punish the whole community of Israel. So if the land that you possess is defiled, come over to the Lord land where the Lord Tabernacle has stand and share the land with us. But do not rebel against it. The law are against us by hiding an altar for yourself. Now they start hiding, So that's why they pretty much were mad, because they don't want you to build this altar and you serving other gods. So that's what they should have had the communication with, and then they could have told them, look, we can't have you to be an altar here because we don't need you to worship other gods. So in building you an altar besides the altar of the Lord our God, which ought to be common to both and no other to be set against, and used besides. So when the son was unfaithful and regardless to his devoted things, they did not come on the whole community of Israel. Now he was not the only one who died for his sin, worshiping other gods. So misunderstanding can corrupt over a little things, And when this happens, the best course of action is to openly communicate, a lesson learned in a amused way by the people of Israel. So the trials of Reuben, Gad, and the half trials of Messiah built an altar near the Jordan River. All the other people of Israel, they hear this, and they was outraged. They assumed that this is a new place of worship. And trials, so the east side of the Jordan River was no longer come, to worship. So they are angry enough to go to war until they're taught. So leaders from east side of Jordan expressed their concern and attention by the end of the conversation. The tribes on the west side of the Jordan celebrate. So it's a memorial of their unity. Remember earlier on, he said, we building this here to remind y'all that this altar is for all of us. It reminds us that we all are God's children. That's what we're letting them know. We always fighting among ourselves, but we all family. It's a memorial of their unity. that you all are God's children. But they didn't want the leaders to come together to really find out why they building the altar. He felt there's something in his heart that he want to build this altar because they're doing all this fighting among themselves, but they're all family. So he built an altar to let them know the unity that we have together as family. You know, uh, that God, you know, that we all are God people. So it is a reminder that the tribes of Israel, you know, ought to always stand together. You know, and all they had to do, this is so simple. All they had to do to have two leaders, to talk it out, to find out, well, why are you building this altar? They're trying to stop all the bickering and the fighting and everything. So they built an altar, a memorial for unity. We all are God people. We are all family, and we all should always stand together. That's all. That's all it was about. But they didn't want to have communication. They just rather go to war. That's why they were trying to stop all this war. You know, we are unity. We are family. So what it meant for peace also led to war. War was supposed to be in peace. We're about to go to war. Until the people communicate. And see how you can get things settled when you communicate? It's just that simple. So if we only communicate, we can avoid misunderstanding, and not be so quick to go to war. These days, people are just ready to go to war so fast. If you only communicate, when you hear something, communicate. You can get a lot of things off. A lot of things off. So that's the story. That's a story on misunderstanding. Have a communication with someone. Don't be so quick to hear things. Because a lot of times, you don't hear the correct answer all the time. So we need to go to the source and find out the real answer of what's going on instead of be so quickly, to go to war. We also talk about the voting. We got pre-voting going on October the 14th. That's this Saturday coming. So it's very important that everyone, come out and vote. If you're 18 years or older, you should not be denied. If your information needs to be updated, this is the time to update your information. So you can vote Saturday. I'll be ready for next year. We need everyone to come out or vote, all voters. You will help and decide who will lead. So your vote is very important. Remember that your vote is very important. Don't ever think it's not. You will you will have your voice heard. On important issues, that affect the future of our state and nation. Every time you use, your right to vote to make a difference in a democracy, it will grow stronger if we all vote together. So you either can vote pre-voting on this Saturday or have all your information ready, for next year. So this is all the news and words that I have for you tonight. Y'all have a blessed and safe night, and I see you on the next video.